Dear friends, welcome to a new episode of the show. I'm your host, Reda, and this is the Psyche and Human Body podcast. We are in episode number 18, and today's guest is a dear friend of mine. His name is Adel Al Muhandis. So, the story of Adel is as following. He's someone who suffered from stuttering all his life, throughout his childhood and through university, and a little bit after university as well, until he was able to get over it and, let's say, solve the problem or solve the issue of stuttering, or let's say live in a way where he was able to manipulate it to, let's say, not affect his daily life. So in today's episode, he will be sharing with us how did he do that, how did stuttering affect his life, and how was he able to, let's say, overcome it. What are the best tools and methods to overcome it, and what are some of the big misconceptions that usually, let's say, doctors or advisors have given him throughout his period, which were not able to solve his problem. I hope you learned something out of today's episode. Please leave your comments in wherever you are listening to this, either on Spotify, Instagram, or YouTube, and I'll make sure to answer your questions. Enjoy the episode. I'll see you in the future. Thank you very much. And here we go. عدولة كيفك؟
هلو
شو أخبارك؟
تمام الحمد لله.
شو جيت من السفر من كم يوم؟ شو how was Germany?
Germany is good. It's quite cold. So just for me to know, because I didn't see any of the other episodes. Is this, you have an English audience, Arabic audience, a mixed audience?
It's a mixed audience. I basically, let's say the target my niche is people who can, like, let's say, understand both
They speak both.
languages.
خلاص يعني مثل الشباب اللي هم.
Let me start off the conversation by just introducing the audience about Adel. Tell me who is Adel. ما كأني بعرفك for like 20 years.
We know each other for 20 years.
بعرفك who are you? شو عم تعمل هون عندي؟ عادل هلا I know إنه أنت درست هون. Then after you went to university, what did you study over there and why did you study it? Did you mute it?
بس هلا صار
It's
okay.
fine. It's good.
Yes, no,
It's green.
Yes.
طيب يلا continue.
That's great. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So tell me about university study تبعتك. What did you study in university? What's your
Bishara.
Bishara, yeah.
Bishara, yes. I studied sustainable and renewable energy. 4 years. It's called SREE. وبعدين it's a very fun field. The best thing about it, at least for me, and it was quite diverse. يعني there was mechanical engineering, there is electrical engineering, of course you have the physics and the chemistry. So I felt like it gave me a very solid foundation to whatever I wanted to pursue later. We can speak later about the projects that I worked on, but that was truly an incredible, solid foundation. I would say my bachelor was one of the best things.
What's the SRE refers to?
Sustainable and
energy engineering.
Renewable energy engineering.
طيب, why did you choose it in the first place? Like, why this field and not other one?
Good question.
As Adel, like, why did you get into that in specific?
Yeah. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. I think we all have this when we are 18. You have this choice to make. بظن كلياتنا عدينا بهاي تروح. You talk with people around you, tell you, oh, become an engineer, become a civil engineer, become an electrical engineer, become this and that. But then what do you do every day? And I wanted to have an exciting career. I wanted to have something that motivates me to wake up every day and say, it's a hard day, but let's go. And something that is creative as well. So I loved science. I loved physics, chemistry, biology, all of these things. So renewable energy, when I looked at the curriculum, you could see that مثلا عندك, as I said a moment ago, physics, chemistry, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and so on. So it's such a diverse sets of topics.
Yeah, I see.
Exactly.
After you graduated, what did you do? Like, did you work in your expertise? What was your next step after you graduated from university?
I tried.
You tried to work?
I tried to
والله I
work.
did my best to work يعني. I thought
tried.
I can find the job after, but reality was not the truth.
I tried, yeah. So I actually graduated with honor.
With honor degree, yeah.
Yeah.
With honor ما في كمان. What else can I do? ما بعرف.
So no, I graduated with honor, but I think you do know I have a stutter.
Yes.
It was really much worse in the past than now. And then every time I would apply for an interview, they call me, but it was hard a little bit for me to answer the phone. Normally, it's easier if I'm face to face. I could give a good impression, but like on the phone, it was really hard. And then every time we would get in, like my file will not cross that phone call, you know. So because of this stuttering issue, and also I do remember when I did my internship, the guy who was responsible on me, he told me like, Adel, يعني انت فهمان شغلك, everything is good, but if you don't solve your stuttering issue, you will not find a job in the UAE.
In UAE?
Yes.
طيب, I see.
So, of course, I was like, let's say, not in denial, because like I was going to therapy, but يعني شو كمان أعمل يعني I go to therapy, I try my best really مدري شو, بس ما كان في يعني ما كان في شيء ثاني فيني أعمله. I was like, okay, we'll see. But then, as I said, when I graduated, I tried to find a job. It was quite hard. Then I applied for a master's. I was like, okay, maybe I will continue in the academic field because this is something I can do and should be good as a career as well. Also was not easy. I did a couple of interviews, Bijamat, Khalifa. It went really bad. I couldn't speak at all. يعني at all. It was quite bad. After the bachelor, my speech really went down, like really, like it was quite hard. So I couldn't speak at all. I asked for a second hearing. They gave me a second hearing. I did a little bit better, but my speech was also really bad. So
Adel, I think like the stuttering thing was like a big part of your life through early childhood and as you went on as an adult. So when did it start with you? Like when did you remember إنه بلشت معك موضوع الstuttering? This is one. And if you know, why did it start? Like, is there anything in your mind that you might, let's say, share of why did it start? Or is it like something that randomly comes to people? Because I honestly don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, but I have a feeling. Sure. So it started at the age of 5, 6, like this. So at first when I started talking as a child, everything was fine, you know. And then at the age 5 and 6, I started to develop a stutter on, you know, like few letters. It was the a, the qa, stuff like this. And then it continued to evolve and just to get harder and harder and harder to speak. And then, for example, Salah would know this. Face to face, I'll be okay. On the phone, a little bit harder. In the class with my friends, everything is okay. If I'm answering straight to the teacher, everything is like okay. But if I need to stand up and read, it was hard. So it wasn't like it's always there. Like it depends on the situation a little bit. So now I know that it's basically a bad habit that the brain develops.
I see.
Yes, yeah. And after reading a lot about this, and I reflected a lot on myself and on my childhood and all of these things, I think it was me trying to get attention, because it was the same time that my brother was born, and I felt all the attention have went to him.
Shifted to him.
Maybe, I don't know, but I feel that maybe it's a reason why to grab attention. I have some small evidence why, but it's a little bit private. But other than this, I think this is the main reason. And then it turned into a very bad habit. Of course, these things, it's like a tick. Like you are predisposed to it, and then the environment, the conditions, something happens, it clicks. So, and you start having it, So, so yeah. And then if we go quickly in the timeline, up until age of 14, it was okay, it was manageable, and so on. After 14, it was really bad. I couldn't do a phone call. I couldn't speak with hatta my mom or my dad. It was really hard, and so on. Then finally I started to go to a proper therapy, because I did a couple of therapy when I was young, but we never followed up. But then at the age of 14, I really started like a proper one, because now I can't function anymore. Yeah. So it's affecting the quality of my life, let's say. So then, and I did that for 10 years. If you're interested, we can go into
Sure, we'll go into that.
details. But that kind of a therapy never taught me how to control it.
How to control, let's say, the habit.
How to control the stutter. And when the stutter is coming, when there is a tension, what to do?
What do you feel like into when you're about to stutter? Like, what do you feel happens? Like, is it that the words stop coming into your brain, or like what happens in your body?
It's like a cramp.
Ah, okay, I see.
It's involuntarily, like it just happens. You're trying to say a word and just it gets stuck.
Blocked.
Yes, for me, it gets stuck sometimes here. Sometimes you might see it on the lips where there is a tension I cannot let go. Sometimes in the tongue. So it's basically the vocal system. Yeah. So this was the problem. Like the problem is that I will have what I would call them a good days, couple of weeks, speaking super fluently. I think you know this from the university times. Then I have a couple of weeks where it's very hard to talk, like, and it's not under my control. But the good days were more than the bad days, let's say. خصوصا بالجامعة, أيام الجامعة. So I would like, okay, the therapy is working, and we just need to continue to make the good days more and the bad days less. That was my focus at the time. However, after I went to Germany, and as I said, after I graduated, my speech was really, really bad, especially now when I switched to English. So I think that was the main reason. Like the main reason is that now at every environment we were using more in English than in Arabic. Due to that, it was really hard to talk. And then, long story short, I went to Germany. It was also really, really bad for 6 months until I found a therapy there and I started there. And then the therapy that I started there completely changed my look on it, my how to approach it, how to deal with it. and all of these things. So we can go into this
Yes,
if you are
please.
interested.
Let's talk about the type of therapy which you used to have over here and the type of therapy which you used to have back in Germany. Like what, let's say, tips and ideas were the therapeutic treatment over here therapist was giving you هون ولما رحت على Germany. بس give me like a brief difference
Sure.
between هون وهنيك, please.
Sure. So hon, it was more like an exercises, like breathing exercises, eye movement for the and neurons and the body, electricity stimulation. I used to have like a pad. I would put like two pads here and two pads here, and then it creates like a pulsating thing. So it was all physical. So like it's like you have a structure, you are trying to fix it. You know what I mean? Like this.
Like a Lego where you're trying to put the pieces together, let's say.
Yeah, you can say this. Yani you have, I don't know, yani you have some sort of a structure, it's not working as it's supposed to work, and then they are saying, okay, let's try to fix the structure.
I see.
Okay, like this. In in Germany, they are not interested in the structure, they are interested in the operator. So let's say, okay, a better example. You have a crane. A crane is not working as it's supposed to work because something is the structure is not as good as it should be. Okay, the motor or like any of these things. So then you have two options. Okay, we fix the motor. Okay, and I tried to fix it for the last 10 years.
I see.
When I did mind therapy here in
UAE.
the UAE. Then when I went to Germany, they were like, no, we don't think it's the problem with the crane. We think it's the operator. The operator of the crane does not know how to work with the crane. And we need to teach him how to work with the crane.
I see.
And this was the shift. وأنا كنت دايما بقول okay, once my speech is good, I'll start to give amazing presentations. Once my speech is good, I will I'm very interested in theater, so I would like to try to do something in
Acting,
theater. Yeah, like this. Once my speech is good. In Germany, the method that we used was the non-avoidance method.
Okay.
You don't avoid a situation because you stutter. To solve your stutter, you put yourself in that situation.
The inconvenient situation for you, the most inconvenient
situation. Over and over and over and over again. Really, for 5 years, I put myself in the most
convenient situation for you.
Situations that my stutter is the worst. And so this is the first
step for the solution.
Yeah, this is not a step. Pillar. Okay. The second one is knowing how to replace bad habits with good ones that over time will give me a fluency.
Okay.
For example, I used to have a block, for example, like this, okay? I used to repeat the word. So مثلا أنا اليوم طالع أنا طالع هيك, okay? Instead of this, I learned to pause and then control it. فأنا اليوم instead of طالع, I control it. I have a control over it.
I see.
This was one. You have of course like the primary symptoms and the secondary. So the primaries are like the stutter itself is the primary, like the tension itself. Okay, but the secondary one is me doing some other tics, like the repetition is a secondary. Me saying is like a secondary. I used to also do like it's also a secondary. So these are things I'm doing that is just not the stutter. It's just me. I'm lost. I don't know what to do when I have it. I don't know what is the right approach. And then I am filling in with something that is wrong, that I shouldn't do. And all of these are actually bad habits. It's like I have one, and then I created 100 around.
الوان وشوي حباشاتك حواليها.
بالضبط. So like I had a one bad habit, and then I made it 100. So yeah. So then it was a lot of work to basically recognize all of the bad habits that are like a secondary
which you created, let's say, because
which I did create, and then being super mindful about them, and then being super aware of them, and then replacing them with the technique, which is like to have, it's basically two main ones. Like one of them is called a pull-out for the listeners. Pull-out is like you have a stutter, you have a tension, you pause. For example, طالع, okay? طالع. I pause, I increase it a little bit, I gain control over it, and then I let go.
Okay, this is a pull-out.
This is a pull-out, yes. The prep set is me now. You will hear me now changing the way I'm talking a little bit. And this is the prep set. So I'm now, once I start doing it, I'm more aware of my vocal system.
I see.
So now I need to be super, it's hard. You can't just do it all day. You need to be very aware of your vocal system, my lips, my tongue, all of these things. It's, you slow down a little bit, but you take control over every word that you're saying. So these are basically the two methods that I still use up to this day, but I'm quite quick in them, so you don't hear me.
ما بنتبه عليه هيك على السريع.
Yeah, so I try to be like you. After 5 years, like you keep exercising, you keep training until they become quite second nature, you know, to you. So yeah, so these were the two pillars, and then having these two tools, the prep set and the pull-out, now you just put yourself in every situation that you used to stutter a lot, and then instead of stuttering, you use these techniques. And you start very simple. Like first I started with reading slips, like a word, and then a sentence. And then from a sentence, now I have like an article, and then we mark where I will use these techniques on purpose. And then, for example, I'm reading, and then here we have a mark, and then I use it, and then I use it, and so on. And so now I'm using it even if I don't have a stutter. It's only to practice how to use the technique. And then after a year, once I was like, let's say, quite good in using the techniques at command anytime I need them, the next step was now to go outside. I do phone calls. I would call a bakery in Germany.
I pranked them كمان حتى.
It was like super weird because my German was not good. I could not speak. So the therapist would prepare a couple of questions in German. I would practice them, so it sounds like I know what I'm saying. But for me, it was just a repetition of the sound. I don't know what does even the sentence mean. I would ask. I would say like, okay, so this sounds to me like I'm asking for the cake. This is I'm asking like at what time the cake will arrive. But as I said, like it was my first year in Germany, so I don't know what does this say. So, and then I will be on the phone, and I will put the speaker on, and I will go through these questions one by one, and then at the end I will say, okay, then I will confirm later. But
like you're window shopping يعني طبيعي. كنت على المحل بتضلك بتدور بيجي لك واحد قاعد يساعدك I think it's okay. We'll come back.
Of course, yeah, we need to think about it. We need to sleep
On it.
on it. But so I did this over and
Over again.
over again. First, it started with phone calls. Then the therapist will put high music, and I will try to still maintain a conversation, because this was another thing. Like if there is a distraction, I couldn't use the techniques as well.
Oh.
So then she would put very loud music, and I will try to focus and still use the technique the way that it's supposed to be done. Then from that to presentations, only to one person, two people, five people, and at the end of it, there was like a department who came for me
To present to them.
to present. Yes. And of course, I'm still doing my presentations at school or at the university. So then I would practice my presentation 10 times with the techniques, and I would write it all down and mark exactly where I have to use it. But and especially if there are tricky words that I still have a deep stutter in them, it's hard for me to control and so on. And of course, it's bad to memorize a presentation and go present, because if you lose one word, you lost everything. But for me, I was like, okay, these are the most common words that I will use in this presentation. I need to be fluent in them, and I need to learn how to use the technique at any point in the word. So some words I will stutter in the beginning.
Okay.
Some of them will be in the middle. I have a letter that is hard. Yeah, so I would make a list of words and I would try to practice and so on. And then I would go do my presentation. And I can say now that because of all of this, I do some of the best presentation at my work now. Like I'm literally the guy
with the presentation. The
to
presenter.
call.
بدك presentation عدول.
I do. Exactly. No. It's like I did the PR ones at my previous job in this at Leap Her now. I do the ones that are related for my framework and so on. So I'm always the guy that they call for presentations, which is like funny. But like,
والله بس لو تعرفوا التاريخ انتم بس لو تعرفوا شو كان عم
بس لو
يصير
تعرفوا شو صار،
لو تعرفوا ايام الطفوله والبلاوي كان عم تصير هلا presenting everything.
Yeah, but it's a happy ending, so I'm very grateful, I would say.
Super happy for you, man. Like because like it's like a huge progress. Like ever since where you started, because it's like something which, like literally, kind of like puts a block in your life and affects your daily life heavily. مثل ما قلت over here when you graduated you were trying to apply for jobs and it was like, let's say, blocking you from getting a job, even though you're someone who put in, let's say, the work in university, you studied all of that, you did your work, but that thing, let's say, have nulled everything which you have did. So unless you didn't do something about it, then your life would have been on pause.
Even in Germany, like I wouldn't have the career that I have now if my speech is not good. Like probably I would be behind a computer all day, probably I will be like, okay, Adel is part of the team, we will hear what he has to say. Most of the communication could be written. Like I would maybe go to a meeting, hear what they have to say, and then I write it down and then I send it and so on. But I wouldn't have the career that I have now if my speech was not really solved. It would have been quite hard.
Now, going back from Abu Dhabi, you went to Germany. Why did you go to Germany? What did you do over there? Like, why the shift from UAE to Germany?
Yeah, so as I said, it was hard. It was hard to find a job here, and then I went to Germany because I studied renewable engineering, and Germany is famous for its investments in renewable engineering at the time, and also engineering in general. And I wanted to become a good engineer. So I was like, okay, let's go to Germany. And also education is quite cheap there. at the time, like for me, I only paid for my living expenses. But now they have a small fee every 6 months, like 1,700 euros. But still, compared to the expense of education here, is quite a difference. Yeah. Yes, and then I went there. I studied at Ulm University. They have this department for renewable energy where they focus more on fuel cells and batteries. There are a lot of good research institutes around the university that are researching batteries and fuel cells. So if anyone who's interested in this, that's a good hub
to go to,
for
let's say,
this.
to study.
To go to, for sure. I wasn't happy when I went there because actually chemistry was my least favorite.
Subject, yeah.
And also, like, the educational system is very different. So here we follow the American educational system. So you do 4 years of bachelor followed with 2 years of masters if you would like to. And in the masters you take advanced courses, but only 2 a semester, or like 3 a semester. And then the rest is developing your skills in research. So you start to learn to read research papers, to write a review, to mark up a paper, and so on. So these are skills that you start to learn here.
Okay.
And I worked in Masdar for 6 months as an intern before I went to Germany. And I saw how it goes, and it's really quite good because 4 years already in your 4th year you start to take advanced courses, and you just build on that when you go to do your masters. In Germany, it's completely different situation. So you have 3 years of bachelor and 2 years of a master, but there is no difference between them. You are still a student. You take full classes like لما كنا بالجامعة يعني 3-4
كلاسات per semester,
كلاسات.
yeah.
No,
through
I
the
think
day?
5 or 6 per semester, but يعني 3 or 4 in the day. A couple of labs, a couple of zero emphasis on research. You don't spend any time with your advisors, with مثلا the professors, the PhDs, and so on. So you are basically a student, because what they had in the past is that it's called a diploma. So it was 5 years, and if you finish a diploma, I think بسوريا عنا هيك كمان.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about the education system back in Syria or Jordan, honestly. So I can't.
Yeah, يعني هذا الصلاح نسواه. يعني we have بجوردن I think بأربد بالتكنو he did 5
years.
in years. It's actually based on this educational system. The European one. Now, okay, this is your diploma. And then you finish it, and then you can do immediately a PhD.
I see.
That was in the past. Now they wanted to have a bachelor and a master and so on. So all what they did is that they broke the diploma, which is 5 years, to 3 and 2. So you do 3 and 2, and then you're allowed to do a PhD.
But let's say if you're done with 3, then you're
you can
have a bachelor.
You are able to work.
You're able to work.
Yes.
So you're a bachelor graduate.
Yes.
And then 2 years after, you, let's say, basically you are a master. You have the master's degree.
You have a master's. But from an educational style, you are still a student. Here, after when you start to do your master's, you are now becoming a researcher. Like you take advanced courses, but you are now learning to do proper research, and you have more time with your advisor, which is like someone with a PhD. So you sit with them, they tell you, okay, this is a better path that you can take. This is how you read a paper. This is how you advance yourself in this field, and so on. So you have a more intimate
understanding
connection with,
of the subject which you're, let's say, are studying and with the advisor تبعك. ما؟
you start to become a researcher. So, and then once you start to do your PhD, you are now really like a proper researcher. And then, yeah, like once you finish your PhD, you are quite advanced in your field. Yeah.
هلا طيب what's like the difference let's say I got the idea of this education system and that education system. Like in a practical life, are they the same? Like when you graduate, are you as capable as someone who's graduated from here or there? Like, are they both the same on the same capacity of understanding of the subject, let's say?
I think someone with a bachelor from an American system is more advanced than someone with a bachelor from a German system. Once they do the masters, they are quite capable now. I never met anybody who's not good at their work there, especially masters and above. But in my opinion, people with a bachelor from an American system like the University of Sharjah, the American University of Sharjah, or if you go to America or so, you are more capable.
I see.
Because there's also emphasis on soft skills, like presentations, projects, this and that, quizzes, homeworks, all of these. In Germany, you have only one exam, and you have the freedom to come to the
class or
lecture
not.
or not.
Okay, that sounds good.
But it sounds good on if you want to have fun. But I think the structure that we had, for example, بجامعة الشرع, makes you more engaged with the material, in my opinion.
I see. Now, after you finished the masters, you started working in, let's say, you got into the real market, let's say. What did you start working? Like, take me into a journey into your professional life, like into your work experience after graduating university and masters.
Sure. So after I did my master thesis at a department in the university where they were working on this airplane, the powertrain of the airplane. A powertrain is basically عندك motor, inverter, power management, and you have your source of power.
Okay.
And in our case, it was a battery and a fuel cell. So it was an electric powertrain, which is in my field. And the idea, the master thesis was that I build a simulation of this. Like I build how the fuel cell and the battery, and then once you have your power management system, how they will interact with each other, and then this goes into the motor. This was the thesis. When I was done, they offered me a job.
Okay.
They offered me to stay. They told me, okay, if you want, you can do a PhD. If you want, you can continue to work here. We like your work and so on. And then I got introduced to the real system. So all of this, as I said, in Germany, when you're a student, nobody cares about you. You start to have weight when after you graduate, and if you do a PhD or not. But once you are an engineer, then people start to
take you seriously.
To take you, yes, a little bit more seriously. Yeah.
Well, maybe he knows something. Maybe he knows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So then I got, and then they showed me, okay, we're gonna build this lab, and we will test everything that you simulated. I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. So I was, yeah, from day one, they were like, okay, here's an empty lab. You need to build it. Of course, the guy, my senior, he was already doing the calls to order the components. He was already planning. So there was a lot of planning before I joined. But when I joined, it was like, finally we have an inverter. Finally we have a motor. And finally now we can start to put them together. Like this. Like it was a bare lab. There was
From scratch.
nothing. Yeah. So, and then the same guy, the senior, he was expecting to have a son in a month, in October. I joined by August, so in October he's leaving. So we worked August and September. If anybody who worked in anything, 2 months, you basically you don't know how to send an email.
You're still doing coffee for the senior.
No,
tutti with sugar, please.
Yeah, exactly. Like you still don't know anything. Like maybe they didn't give you access to the email. Maybe the permissions were not there. Maybe this, maybe that. So the first, normally 3 to 4 months, it takes a bit of time to start to roll. In my case, they were like, yeah, he's leaving in 2 months. So, and then you have to build a lab because he's leaving for, like
quite a while.
3 months. I was like, okay. So yeah, and then I worked on this for 3 years, and then we started with the motor, inverter, as I said. Then once they started to work together for the engineers out there, so I used ClavView basically to send signals to control the motor with the inverter. And then we had these discussions. Okay, is it like torque controlled? Is it like speed controlled? Also for the engineers out there. I have to plug in
the engineers
a little bit. Yeah.
An engineer, like, hear it. It's for you.
Exactly. So yeah. So what and then after that, they came to me. They said, okay, you built this power, a simulation of the power management. Now we want it to be in code, in C. Do you know how to do that? I was like, no, but I can learn. They said, okay, you have 3 months. Go ahead. So then for 3 months, I learned C first. Then I learned how to program an embedded system with C. We had this AVR controller. And then I took the algorithm that I wrote, and I included it now as a code in C. It was really bad. It was like while loops and stuff that you shouldn't really do. But this was my first trial, let's say, okay? I rewrote that code completely from scratch 3 to 4, I think 4 times. Like completely. I'm like, okay, everything I did, I learned everything. Now this is garbage. I don't know if we can swear.
Yeah, swear, it's fine. Of course you can swear.
This is shit.
Can we swear? Yes. Okay, this is shit.
Yeah, exactly. So this is shit. Here is what I will do. Here's how can I improve it. So improving a lot of stuff. مثلا algorithm, improving the type of programming. So I went from stupid while loops, what you learn in your bachelor, to basically having a couple of threads, and you do different kind of operations in each like thread and so on. It's called dynamic programming. And there's some state machines and so on, also for the engineers. So I did this like 3-4 times, and this was over 2 years. Okay. So after 3 months, I made this small program that can basically turn on and off some like switches and so on. And then over the next 2 years, with the systems that we have, and me learning more about them and knowing how they work and so on, the communication protocol and so on, putting it all together, then now I was the lead on this. Like, I know everything about our motor, I know everything about our inverters, I know everything about the program I wrote, the hardware I'm working with. So from this point on, I know everything.
Okay.
There's nothing I don't know about this. Why is this important? Because after a year of my work, they told me, "Oh, this is the same system that will go in the plane." I was like, "So there is an actual
Plane that's gonna go.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I didn't
والله
know.
هلا thank you for telling me يعني والله انه
Because everything you do is okay in the lab. You can blow stuff up. Nobody cares. You can make a mistake. It's okay. You can't make a mistake when it will go in a plane. And
that
this is
costs a lot
not
of money. Yeah.
this is not a drone.
Uh-huh.
This is like two pilots are in the
In the plane.
Yes.
Okay, and you're gonna put
The
this
testing,
system which you are testing
testing
and
pilot.
okay,
Yes,
good,
exactly.
good. You know, I hope the pilots didn't know this before, but
This was a collaboration between the University of Ulm and DLR at the time. It's like the German aerospace, the NASA
of Germany.
of Germany. Yeah. And yeah, then they were like, okay, you know, interesting. I didn't know that these exact systems will go in the plane. Of course, this raised the pressure by 100.
ما عم بقدر اتنفس.
Yeah, it was hard. I lost all of my hair because of this.
And this is why من هذاك اليوم وصل. قبلك كان
بالضبط.
عندي. I had.
I have a photo. I have a photo, and like all of my friends, they make a joke there that Adele before the project
Yeah,
and then
Adele
after the project, I gained weight. I reached 85
kgs.
kilos. I was 70.
Uh-huh.
I went up to 85. I lost a lot of my hair. It was quite hard. It was really stressful. It was super hard. A lot of stress. So, but it was very fun as well. Like I traveled to Italy, I traveled to Slovenia, and so on, because the body of the plane was made in Slovenia. So then I went there, and we have to do our testing in Slovenia. Yes. That was a crazy like story too. So we went to test some ground testing to assemble a few things. We said, okay, we need more time, so we waited for the next summer, which was the Corona time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then we agreed that we will all be in this big house. And we are in complete isolation from everybody else. And we just go to the airport, work in a hangar all day, and then for 10 hours, then come back, eat, sleep,
then go repeat.
Go again. Like this, every day.
Fun. Sounds fun.
Every day.
عم تشتكي يعني it sounds fun.
It sounds fun.
It sounds fun.
It's not fun. It's not. It's a Slovenian hangar. It's not the Abu Dhabi airport.
Slovenia hangar مال new airport. معلش.
You don't have anything there. You're like, but it like we were a team, and everyone there has to be there. Like, really, يعني everyone who was there has to be there. Otherwise, the plane will not fly. So we were at a group of 7 people. The lead engineer, Stefan Flade, I learned a lot from him. This guy, how he stayed calm and worked through a problem after a problem after a problem with the stress that we had. And he was responsible on everything in the plane. Everything is under his responsibility. He knows all the components, how they all work, how they all come together, the history of them, and so on. So it was amazing to watch him work, and it was a humbling experience for me, because I always thought, oh, I'm good, oh, I'm smart, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that. But then I saw a guy who's levels ahead of me. Levels. We are not on the same level. but he's also 10 years older. So
Oh, well, this is why. I was not having 10 years more, and I'm going to be like.
it's okay. So yeah, so this guy was I learned a lot from him as an engineer and also as an individual and so on, and how to stay calm. And then yeah, we did our ground testing and flight testing, and we got certified.
And how was it? مش حال flight, was the system fine? Is everything?
Yeah, everything. We flew. You can
You go check it, man.
find
والله والله we flew.
You can find it on YouTube. Just Google H2Fly 2020, because now they had another flight, but I'm not as part of the company anymore. But they had another flight in this year, so 2023.
Super.
And they flew again. So yeah, Google it. H2Fly.
H2Fly والله we'll check it out because I'm gonna put the link إنه يشوفوا العالم بال description. Sure, super man. On another topic, I want to discuss one more thing. Like, I know that you're someone who has been into training and like
I
training.
don't look.
I don't
like
look
it,
like a trainer.
but it's true.
In theory,
I am.
yes,
I
do.
am into it. I am into it. It is true. Yeah, and I used to train.
And this thing that you're talking about, I'm into it. Training. Yeah, I like that.
Exactly.
I like
that. Yeah. Okay.
So ever
Go
since
ahead.
we were kids, like I know you from school, you used to train in the gym and try to take care of your food, etc.
True.
And my main question is, what's the difference between this part of the world's diet and the German diet? Because I know that you once told me that there's a difference that people over there eat in a different manner compared to here. And just give me like a brief, let's say, comparison between the two
Yes.
cultures and how they eat and how, let's say, it reflects on them. Because I remember that you once told me that when you tried their diet, it didn't go well with you as Adel.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Exactly. I don't know. Like they eat a diet in the morning with jam and butter and toast and honey and like
Quite sugary.
yeah. And if you go to any German restaurant, it's quite fatty and meaty, and they have like the Käse-ish Spätzle, which is like macaroni and cheese, but the German way. I would say the Americans have stole it from the Germans. So everything is fatty, everything is heavy, but they move a lot. They move a lot, and they work a lot, and the weather also, the cold weather is something that if you work outside all day, you need it. So you need to eat such food. And yeah, like for me, I don't know how like these guys would eat. Like as I said, we were in the same house. They would cook their food and I will eat, but I gained 15 kilos and they gained 2. You know, like okay, we weren't exercising as much. Maybe I was the programmer, so I set more, tried to program, like to fix a few things in the code and so on. They worked more all day with the tools and tried to fix stuff on the plane and move stuff around. So it could be that, of course, like they moved more. But like nobody was like training, like we weren't
putting in an effort, let's say, to train through the time.
Yes. So but yeah, like I noticed that like it's the same diet that our moms and dads would eat in the morning, like we are both Syrians, so and we know this. Like in the morning, you have jam, cheese
and لبنة, etc.
لبنة عطون من كل هالكلام. So I think a combination of the weather and that the fact that you move a lot there allows you to eat that.
Do they have a high obesity rates and cardiovascular problems?
No. Like, of course, not everybody in shape, but obesity is not a thing. There are some people who you would classify as obese, but it's not the main thing. Kids there are the majority of them are slim.
Uh-huh.
The kids that I see obese are usually the migrant kids. Like you can see that they are, they have
The
a
belly.
belly. But German kids are always thin. Not always, but like the majority of the time are thin. I never saw someone who
Man,
was
it's
like
something
obese.
quite interesting because, like, when I see, like, if you put, let's say, a certain personnel from a different culture, if you put them in a different another culture, maybe they don't adapt as well to the diet, and they start getting
True.
weight.
True.
So
And also you have to think about like the other things, like vitamin D,
deficiency.
for example. Like here, it's not a thing. We never have, like, you go out in the sun, you get all of the vitamin D that you need. I went there 6 months. I went there in October. In December, I just felt I have no energy. I can't go out of bed, and the days are way shorter. So the sun would rise at probably 7 and set at 4, 5.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
you
there's like 2
basically,
hours difference.
like, you go to work, the sun didn't rise yet, and you get out of work and the sun has
Down.
already set yet. So not so much, yeah. So you don't have a lot of sun. You don't have. It's very cold. Like for me, when it was coming from the UAE, when it was 10, I was already in my like wintry biggest coat,
Yeah.
where the Germans, they run in shorts and a t-shirt outside. And I was like, I don't understand this. I don't understand how it's 10 outside and he's wearing a t-shirt and shorts and he runs outside. Now I do. So
لا خلاص my thing خلاص short وكنزي 10 degrees my thing.
for us, like it's like we have a joke. Like after it's minus 10, 11, it's really cold. It's really, really cold. But then when you experience minus 11 and then the temperature goes back up to 0, you're like, this is like
Summer for me.
barbecue
Barbecue weather.
Anjad. It's super strange. Like once you experience minus, like you go from summer to fall to winter. Okay, so in summer it was like 35 and so on. So then you go in fall. Okay, now it's like 10. Okay, it's cold. It's like raining and so on. Then it goes to 0. You're like, oh, now it's really cold. Everybody is cold. Everybody is like, then it goes to minus 11.
minus 11.
Then now is like
Okay, now let
you
me
are
tell you
in,
about cold.
like the biggest scarf and so on. Then it goes up back to 0. And I'm like, this is like super nice. Like this is like perfect.
يا عادل يلا barbecue على السريع يلا let's go.
Anjad. It's like if there is a sun and it's dry, you would see
People barbecuing.
people outside. Yeah, and they are having fun and it's a barbecue and everything. So yeah, so okay. So we had an intruder. Amazon. Okay.
يلا كمل.
I forgot. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, we were talking about the weather.
Yeah. Now, you told me you got to a point where you reached 85 kgs, and how did you shift back? Like, what did you do through, let's say, diet, training, so you were able to shift back to your current weight?
Yeah. Now I'm fat again, I would say, because like I'm 76 now, because like the last month or so I was very busy at work, and also once it's winter, like
It's hard
you
to
go out
move.
less. You go out less. You don't want to go. Like even if you want to go to the gym, it's a big hassle because like you have your coat on you, you have a thermal underwear on you, and then you need to go there. You change completely to shorts and a t-shirt so you could do a workout. Then you have to re-wear everything. And it's just like the biggest hassle. هدول just
excuses يعني انا عم بستنى
excuses.
تقول لي انه شو اوكي بس اوكي ماشي
excuses. Yes, I do agree. Like I know you now for a long time, and you always have trained, even if you are sick. But yeah, like for an average individual, it's a lot of hassle. And I was quite busy at work because I needed to finish something before my vacation. But the best thing that worked for me is basically intermittent fasting. This did wonders. So I would eat one meal at 12, one meal at 6. That's it.
So 2 meals. So you used to fast
meals.
for 18 hours a day.
Yes.
18 hours a day.
So the meal in the morning, it's always the same. Eggs and a salad. Like for me, this is filling. It gives me a lot of energy. I could go do a workout. I could do this. I could do that. I'm quite good. I started to add also avocados to my salad. Also gave me even more energy and all of that. No bread, no carbs. Then
The dinner meal.
The second meal, the one at 6, usually is a steak or some sort of a protein. But normally it's a steak. So a steak, also with avocados, also with
Salad.
a salad, a big salad. Like it's a big meal, I would say. But I never felt sleepy after it. I never felt tired after it. I never like. It's also really awesome. And this is what I would say to anybody: like, eat the stuff that makes you feel good. I experimented with the keto. I experimented with only meat, the carnivore. I didn't feel good. But this kind of diet where I had a salad, I had some vegetables. Sometimes I would add pasta if I felt low energy during a workout or so. I would add a slice of bread in the morning when with the eggs. But I always did what felt good
For your
to
body,
me.
for yourself.
Yes. So this made me feel good. My energy was high. My mood was good. My focus was sharp, and so on. So then I was like, okay, for me, this is working. I don't need to experiment with stuff that, it doesn't work.
Very true, man. Because like out there, you see like there's a lot of diets. Like a lot of people talk about many different diets, and like I also have tried many of them, but they didn't all work for me. But when you see people describing them, they describe it for you as the best diet out there. It fits everyone, but it's not the case. Because as you said, like if you put, let's say, someone in a different society, different culture, maybe your microbiota, your gut, it doesn't adapt to this kind of food.
That's true.
So it starts to reflect back on you. Although in theory, like even in Italy, for example, in Italy, most of their food is still until now pasta, pizza, whatever these معجنات هالأمور and these things. If you put a normal person to eat such a diet, they're not going to be able to function. Maybe
you also need to think about how they eat them. So if you go to Italy and order a pasta, you will get this amount. Like it's that I don't know if the camera would see this, but it's basically a cup. What you could assume as an appetizer, but it's
this is the meal. Yeah.
Yes. So they eat actually not so much. It's not like if you go to, I don't know, some American
restaurant
chain and you get this big bowl of pasta with cream and cheese and all of it. There, the ingredients are very simple. Like we have a Sicilian restaurant in Un. You go, you order a bowl of pasta. Like, for example, the seafood one. Shrimps, cherry, tomatoes, garlic, oil, and the pasta.
That's it.
And like this. You eat it, you don't feel full, but you don't feel hungry. And you don't feel sleepy. And you don't feel
lethargic
excuse me.
or تقيل شوي.
Yeah, يعني you don't feel anything. You still feel as good as if you ate a steak. Like I would bet anybody to eat that bowl and then eat a carnivore meal, and I bet that you will feel as good because you ate less, you ate a little bit, you didn't overfill
Fill your stomach.
your stomach. Usually carbs needs a little bit of time until you feel the satiety, and you will feel good, you will have high energy, you will go work and so on. And everybody in Italy, when you go and eat, they eat these small amounts. Order a pizza in Italy, good kind of wheat, you know, they have it
Grown in the farm.
like local in Italy, but still local wheat, no added sugars or any kind of chemicals, only just a pure wheat. Very very elaborate fermentation process. So the way they make the dough and so on, if you take a look at it, you'll see that it goes through many stages. And I was reading that all of these stages are actually beneficial for you and for the gut and so on. So it's quite interesting that they developed this over the
years.
Yeah. Yeah, and then what? They add tomato sauce, a drizzle of olive oil, some mozzarella on top. You eat a couple of slices, or even if you eat the entire thing, you don't feel super heavy. So I think really it's just like eat until you are full, until you are 80% full. Like I would say that's a good rule. And don't eat a processed food. Try to have it, you know, like something that you can identify.
Exactly. Like
I would say this is a good
good place to start.
way
Good place
to
to
go.
start. Like you know, if you need to, let's say, advise someone to, okay, how can I eat well? Well, let's say start by something where you can identify the ingredients, like something which is, let's say, as natural as close to nature as possible. Because لأنه هلا بالماركت شو, when you look at the ingredients, you find like a lot of things in the product, whatever it is. Like for example, in McDonald's, man, like the salt itself has 3 ingredients. Like what the hell? Like why the salt has 3 ingredients? I don't get it. Like you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
like a lot of things are have like additives, are processed, and like they are made in a way where they make people more addicted to them and to come back to them and keep eating them.
For example, in Germany, they use a lot rapeseed oil, and whenever I start eating more at the canteen or the cafeteria that we have at work, I don't feel good, even though I'm eating a small meal. However, whenever probably I eat the same amount, even at an Italian restaurant where they use more olive oil, I don't feel as bad. I feel good. I feel light. As I said, I go a lot to this
Sicilian restaurant.
Sicilian guy. Never felt, oh, I'm so sleepy now. You know, like I need to take a nap or so. Same way when I eat at home, when I cook for myself and I cook a healthy meal and I'm using olive oil and so on. The issue is that when you go eat outside, you don't know what do they use. And for the restaurant wants to give you a meal that will make you come back. So they will add stuff like more butter, more salt, a little bit. You know, like they want you to enjoy your meal, and you will have all of the flavors in your mouth, and you're like, this is very,
very good
tasty,
and very tasty,
very good, very tasty. Of course, this is their end goal, you know, and it's fine. It's okay to go enjoy it once a week or once every 2 weeks or so. But if you eat every day outside and you don't know what's been put in your food, you will start to say, oh man, like I'm not eating a lot, but I'm still, I gain weight, or I feel sleepy, or you know, or I cannot focus, I cannot be sharp. And being overweight, being that I reached 85, and I did not just gain weight. Like I wasn't just like 85, just like fat. No, like my face was bloated, my liver was fatty, like I was in a very bad health. This was during the Corona time. Like also, like we weren't allowed, like in Germany, there was like a quarantine. You cannot go out. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. It was quite hard. It was really hard to meet anybody, only to go for a run or so. So then, yeah, so I gained a lot of weight as well, and I was in a bad health, like just bad health. One time I remember I wanted to go on a run. I took a couple of steps. I didn't have the mental energy to continue. I walked back home, and then I was like, imagine like I was like I always like trained. I always tried to eat healthy. It was just probably 1 year where, like, with the stress at work and with the corona and so on, and I am feeling like this.
Yes.
So imagine someone
who
who never have felt as good as I used to feel, and they don't know that actually you can run for 10K and you should be okay, and you can actually do this actually
every couple of
once a
days or
week or
whatever.
every couple of days, and it should be okay. That you have energy to work all day, then go to the gym, they meet with your friends, and then you go out at night or something. We are like at the time I was 27, like now I'm 32, but we should still be able to do all of these things. So I thought like I went back. I walked. I couldn't. It's like, oh, I'm too.
I'm too
tired.
old for this.
Exactly. I felt no energy. I couldn't run. So, and mentally I was weak. I couldn't. I was like, oh, it's cold. I used to run at -4. This was like normal weather, like 10 or so. So I remember I went back home. I was quite upset of myself, and I was like, "Oh man, like this is really a disaster." So okay, what do I do? I was like, okay, I was alone. Like I had my own apartment, and I was like alone this entire time. So I went to a shared apartment where there are other people, because during the Corona time I couldn't meet anybody.
Yes.
And then like when I moved to this shared apartment, at least like you would meet someone,
You would
you
start a
talk
social
little
life
bit.
and
Yeah,
in the end you're
exactly.
you're a social species يعني انه انت you're human, you cannot operate just into staying indoors all day.
Yeah, exactly. So then we started this. Then I started fasting. Then Ramadan came. So instead of 2 meals, 1 meal, but still the same meal, steak. It's a big meal, but just like
One time.
I focused on having only a meal, and the rest was water. And I dropped 10 kilos in 6 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was the first drop, and now I'm feeling healthy again. Like now, when I train at the gym, I can train. When I go on a run, I can run. Then me and my roommate started to go on these runs, and we wanted to do 10K in 50 minutes. I almost died a couple of times.
I was expecting and almost fainted, but almost died. Okay.
It was really hard, and like, but we were like training, and we run, and like we don't run every day like together, but on the weekend we would do a session, but we train each like on their own and so on. So then I lost more weight, and and then yeah, like I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's really a lifestyle. Like you are what you eat, you are what you do, and then what you do every day, like so. And I know myself, like now the best training I like I enjoy, go out on a run, find a workstation where you can do a pull-ups. Now I can have a balance between like the pull-ups and the push-ups, and then I do a couple of circuits there with some jumping squats or lunges or so on. some leg raises, then I run back. And for me, I could do this probably every day. I'm never sore. Like sore when when you have like
yes, when you have
a
the
leg
cramps,
day,
the cramps after like 3-4
a leg
days,
day,
where you
yeah,
cannot sit on the bathroom, where these kind
exactly.
of cramps.
So because of this, I don't feel extremely sore, but I feel healthy. I feel like strong, and I started training like this last summer, or starting بهذا السمر. So in the summer when the weather was good in Germany, I couldn't do 4 pull-ups when I started. I ended by 21 in a row in 2 months, 3 months. So 21 in a row and like a circuit.
Yes.
Like do 20, do this, run, come back, do it with core, with the push-ups and so on. And I have a photo of me. I should have.
حط يلا اول حط لك حط لك اياها على الانستا بيج، ما بدي اعمل لك الاعلان هلا، بس حط لك اياها.
حط صدقني. No, but I saw a photo of mine like when I at that time when I was at training. I was like, I like how I look. Like I look, I'm good. I feel good, and yeah. So I think it's really like choose something you enjoy to do.
Something which is, let's say, sustainable for your lifestyle, your life, not someone else. Like how it fits your day, something that makes you come back to it. Like not something that feels you're pressuring yourself to do it. Like something that comes naturally for you from food, from training, something that suits you, but just like do something.
Yes,
do
yes.
something.
صراحة يعني as we said in the beginning of this conversation, like we used to go to bodybuilding.com and find these like workouts. Okay, like 3 months we go to the gym and train, and like a drop set and supersets and this, and have this kind of protein and have this and have that, and you would get in shape. That's sure. Okay, you eat well, you train
Very
well,
true.
you get in shape. However, what would happen with me is that it wasn't maintainable. I wouldn't sustain it. I would get bored. Okay, then what do? I need to be in shape. I like boxing. So in the gym that we are in, I go and
Boxing class.
I do a boxing class, and the one we do is not like this shadow boxing or like this more like a body combat. It's actually you box with
Someone, you spar with someone and box.
but it's healthy sparring. There is nobody's trying to hit you in the head or something. But like you hold up your hands, and then they hit you, then you do it and so on. Sometimes you do get hit, like in the stomach, in the chest, and the arm, so on, but it's fine, and then you have a light sparring. And what I noticed is if you don't focus in the gym, let's say you do a rep, you do a set, and you are not in the zone. You see where I will go with this.
عم بحكي شيء انت.
You are not in the zone. Okay, you are not in the zone. You do a set. Okay, I'm talking about the average individual. Okay, you do a set. You're not in the zone. Maybe you have some songs, some music, maybe a podcast you're hearing or something like this. Okay. Nobody. Okay, you weren't in the zone. Fine. If you are sparring and you're not in the zone, you get
punch in the nose.
Punch in the face, like immediately. like immediately. I can, because I went to this like a gym where you actually do is sparring. Still, nobody's trying to take your head off because, but like you would get a light punch in the face, like this, like and. If you are, and I noticed that sometimes your mind would, my mind would wander, and then I would get hit. And this is why I think this kind of training is awesome, because it's good for the brain, it's good for the mind, it's good for you move, you learn how to move, you learn how to read the person
Opponent,
in
yes.
front of you. Because someone is throwing a punch, you can tell they will throw a punch if you know where to look. Most people who start, they look in the eyes. The eyes will not hit you. The shoulders are the
Yes.
ones that will move first, you know. His weight will move, and so on. So you start learning how to see all of these things, and then all what you have to do is move just a little bit
Know
like
how
this.
to read the body of your
Yeah,
opponent.
exactly. Like you learn how to move, you learn that like you and then when you watch
Fights.
boxing or like MMA and so on, like oh, wow, like yes, he can hit you and it looks on the camera that he hits you, but you didn't absorb any of the power because the fighter have moved a little bit to the left or to the right, so maybe he touched him, you know. Which is okay, like you when your adrenaline is high and so on, you don't even
Feel the pain, yeah. You don't even feel
like
it, yeah.
yeah, so like this touch on on the chin or something, like you don't really feel it. So so I found that when I started doing things that I like, with friends I like, you know, like either to go climbing in the climbing gym or to do boxing, interacting with people, because like okay, I am an engineer, I work a lot on my computer and I work a lot on my on my own for a long time. So I want something that after this long day at work that I'm
To
interacting
socialize,
with
yeah,
other
man.
people. And nothing makes you a better friend than to have a fight with someone. If you spar with someone, you will always see this guy like, hey, man, it's super. It's so primal. It's so fun. Like you get hit, it hurts. Like I hurt my
Abdomen.
rib once, but I still
Spar
go
with him.
back there. I like him, you know. We have no issues because everybody knows, you know, like now we are sparring. No, nobody should hit anybody on the head. So for people that
On the head.
um who are hearing us, head injuries are a real thing, and especially the ones that are r- repeated over and over. It's a light hit, but it's over and over, and this is a lot of people
Yeah,
how
man,
they
like there's
get
new
this
research
brain
about it.
injuries.
في فيلم I once saw it, like بيقولوا لك it the vibration in the brain, like انه
Yeah.
بصير المخ بيضرب بال
Yeah,
yes, yes.
because our brain is not like anchored. It's free in the skull. So every time you do this,
It
your
moves.
brain will hit.
Yes.
So even like the lightest hit on the brain could cause your brain damage
Very true.
over time. So this is why we have rules, like you don't hit somebody in the face or in the head. Maybe sometimes you get by a mistake you get hit, but we have these rules. We all don't want to have any brain issues, but we hit hard when it comes to the body. You know, like you hit quite hard on the arms. You know, they have to block you. A friend of mine, I don't know if this is good advertising, but he had internal bleeding.
Okay.
Yeah, he sparred with a
Wrong person.
guy.
والله he
Yeah,
sparred مع
yeah.
واحد he shouldn't have.
Yeah, he sparred with a person like this guy is a champion. But my friend is big and tall and muscular. He goes to the gym. But if you don't know how to protect yourself, you will get hurt. And he looked big and strong, and that guy's like, okay, we spar. He got hit so many times. It was sad to watch.
Oh man, oh خلاص okay.
Yeah, he got internal
Bleeding.
bleeding. He had to go to
Oh,
the
it's dangerous,
hospital
man.
and
Yeah,
so
man.
on. Yeah,
Well,
if you don't know what you are doing, a guy like a champion or something, even if they are just sparring with you, like he's not trying to hit you hard,
Yeah.
but his 20%
percent.
will hurt you if you don't know how to block it, you know. So yeah, so stay safe out there.
Good stuff, man. Abdullah, where are you now in life? Like, what's your plan for the future? Where are you currently in life? What are you planning to do later on in your life? Like, professionally as Adel, where do you see life is taking you? هلا حاليا.
That's a good question because I don't know. So
Do you have a plan?
I spoke about the plane and my work for 3 years on that project. But then after that, I made a decision that okay, this is not my dream. I like to build products that people
Use.
I would get an interaction, you know, I would get a feedback from them. I want that my products, like I think maybe a part of me is more of a designer than like hardcore engineer. Like when I used to be a kid, I used to like all sorts of like drawing or crafting or carving and so on and all of these things. So but I loved science and I loved engineering and I loved all of these things as well. So now I then after my work, I at the university, I wanted to start my own startup, let's say. And I was like, okay, what do I do? I think software is one of the, and I wrote some software when I was at the company, at the university, excuse me. So then I was like, okay, software is one of these things that you need your mind, ideas, and a laptop. And you can build something, you know? You don't need high capital. You need a good team, though. You do need that. I was like, okay. So then I learned, I still remember it, on the 15th of January, I'm Googling how to build an application. This is 2022, okay? By June 2022, I had an application. So I learned how to program an application, and I had something, what we call an MVP, like something that you can, like a minimum viable product, something that you can show to customers and they can interact with, and you know you get some feedback and you improve and so on. It was quite exciting as a journey. I learned a lot about business, building products, talking to customers. I used to go to Starbucks. I sit there, go and tell people, oh, I have this idea. Would you like to take a look? What are the challenges that you have, like in life, so on and so forth. And just like, if I go now to Starbucks, I have to say hi to like all of the people there, because the people who go there, they always go. So you could go there and see a lot of them there, and you say hi and so on. So then I started this. It didn't go so far because, let's be real, like I wasn't a software engineer. I had to learn all of these things. I never have built an app, so I had to learn a lot of these things. I never learned how to develop a product. I had to learn a lot of these things. So my chances of success was low. However, I wanted to take a step in the direction where in the future my chances of success will increase.
I see.
And after a year of work on this app, now I work at Clipper. It's a big German company, and I work in the digital department where I also build applications. And now I've been working there since April, and I learned a lot because now around me there are seniors, there are data scientists, there are like all of these people now where you can sit with them, have a conversation, designers and so on. So now I'm learning a lot in the last 9 months or so, 10, and 8.
8 months.
8 months. So I learned a lot during that time, and now my plan is to start to think, okay, we have this new revolution in AI. When I started in 2022, okay, AI was interesting, data science, machine learning and so on, but it was nothing like what we are seeing now with chat GPT-4, and all of the other models. And now my question that I'm asking myself is, how can I now build products with this? The problem with if you rely on chat GPT, a very simple example, I can make an app where people who get in touch with you as Rida, someone will answer them very quickly, maybe give them all the important information. You can do this with chat GPT. It's quite easy, and they will get a very nice response. We can even make it sound like you who's writing. Of course, it's better to say that it is a digital assistant, and we will put you with someone if you need to. But you can do that. It's quite easy. I can probably build that on a weekend. But this is easy to replicate.
In what sense?
Like any other competitor would be able
To
to
do
do the service that
to provide the same service that you're providing, in a sense.
Yeah, like you put yourself in a place where like you can easily be out competed by anybody who have more money than you, or yeah, it's quite easy to out compete you. However, I'm trying to think, okay, how can I integrate these AI tools in something that I still have an advantage? Like I still have something that to outcompete me, you need to spend time or years, or like have the right expertise and so on. And I still don't know the field that I still don't know what would be that
A good
thing.
way to start, like a good place to start.
Yeah, so now I am on vacation for like a month, and I'm taking this time to think about this and read, and go over the latest advancements, see what are there, and then just think of what could be this thing, and just start again and hope for the best.
All the best, man. Good stuff. Last question, Adel, before we close up.
Go ahead.
Are you happy in life?
Am I happy in life? Okay, deep questions. I think I am grateful for my life. I think I had an awesome life. The ups and the downs, I was in depression for 2 years when I went to Germany. I know how does it feel to be depressed and have low energy and so on. My family, alhamdulillah, are good and healthy. My career is good. So happiness is something that I wouldn't aim for.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I think it's a little bit cheesy. Are you happy in life? Like, I would say I'm having a good time. Like, my life is good. I'm very grateful. I think we are on the same chat, and sometimes like I think like, man, this is like awesome life that we have. Like look where we started. Like every time I remember like I graduated from a public school here. Like many of the people I knew, like I don't know where they are now in life, but like the fact that I am where I am in my life, and I'm working on the stuff that I would like to work on, and then I am working the times that I would like to work on, and my environment is quite healthy, and and the opportunities are there, and there is a lot of good that we can do in the world. And I think if you choose your step carefully, if you think about them, if you learn, and and then you move forward hoping for the best. So I'm hopeful for a better future, and this is why I agreed to do this. I think I have something to share when it comes to the speech issue. Actually, I was planning to do a video about it, but then since we did this,
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And if your audience have any questions, they can
Sure.
get also in touch. So yeah, and like I never thought I will be able to speak as fluently as I am now. So this is alone for me. I'm grateful
Yes.
for this for my entire life. Like this is a second chance in life. This is like a second life.
Like a reset for your
So
life.
alhamdulillah, يعني عن جد يعني I never expected it. I was hoping that it will happen.
One day.
I always hoped, but I didn't know that it will, and it wasn't clear that it was going to happen. Like if I would tell you, like, yeah, like I would sit and I worked hard on this, and I was sure that no, this is a lie. I didn't know. I didn't know that it will
Work out this way.
And I remember, like, one time I had a bad therapy session, and then I asked that I don't want to come to the next one. And then my therapist asked why, and I was like, I'm not so happy, and I'm quite upset about this, and I'm not improving, and so on. She's like, yeah, but you have to continue to come. And I was like, oh, fine. Like, you know, like,
علينا اوكي ماشي
عن
حاطين.
جد يعني هيك. It was, okay, yeah, no, fine, okay, you know, but like, and I was stubborn. I was like, this is not working. This is a stupid idea. And then she put me in touch with someone who did the therapy 5 years ahead of me, and I saw how his speech was really good. I was like, I cannot believe that you.
لا لا it's not true. It's fake. It's fake.
No, it's really amazing, because I remember up to this day I was having a conversation with that guy, and I'm saying, but your stutter is a different than mine, and I'm sure mine will not work. I have this tension that happens here, and so on. It's out of my control, and so on. So, and he said, just trust the process. Just go every day. Just do what you have to do and do this. And I was like, okay, I will give this a try and see where this will go. And so the aim was, from this podcast with you, is that, like, a lot of times you can do things and not 100% sure that they will succeed at the end. And those are normally the big things in life. And I think these are the things that are worth continuing to trying to solve them, or to do them. I failed in my first startup, and now I'd like to try it again. And I think if I fail in the second one, I will do it again, and then again. Why? Because otherwise I would be incredibly sad in life, to answer your question. Like, I think if I don't have this hard goal that I want to achieve, and I want this hard problem that I'm trying to solve and I pursue, you know, I don't think I can be happy in my life in that case. But if I'm having something that I'm aiming for, I'm trying to achieve, I would say I'm always joyful and grateful for where I am and what I'm trying to do. And
man, I'm super happy for you. Like,
awesome.
Thank you very much for coming in to share your story.
Yeah, thank you.
And I wish you all the best in life. And
awesome.
All the best, and take care. And I hope to see you in the future. Yalla, man. See ya.
Thank you. Yeah, it's an awesome setup. For those who don't know, or who are behind the camera, we are in his room. But he has this nice corner, and I have to say, I'm very happy that you are doing this. It's something that I wanted also to do, but I was like, but what would I talk about? You know, like, I don't have, like, who would I go and talk with? But I think being in the UAE, you have access to talent in Arabic and in English that could make this podcast become really a big thing. And I think am I your second?
I might. I didn't actually. I have the first episode. Here's the doctor, which I'm gonna post as the first episode. But listen, I didn't like sequence the episodes الباقيين. I have recordings still, so I
I see.
didn't
Okay.
still launch them because I'm planning to
I
launch
see.
by 1st of January, like by the beginning of the year. So from now in December, we are in December
I
now.
understand.
I'm filming. Amidst just filming the episodes and keeping them until January, where after the holidays I'm gonna post it, because I think that people now are busy with families. They don't have a lot of time. Because when I'm talking to guests,
Sure.
asking them to come, they tell me that we're traveling and busy and now, so they all like are trying to push by the
Sure.
next year. So I'm gonna launch this project by the next year, and yeah, that's it.
But anyways, I'm
Sure.
very happy that I'm some of your
Episodes.
first guests, and good luck.
See you later.
And hopefully next year
Sure,
we'll
man.
be in
Sure. Thank you very
a
much.
studio
Yeah.
or so.
Cheers.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Cheers, everybody.